my mind, what's so powerful about the direct invite is the fact that my prospect knows that I'm confident in network marketing. Usually with a sort of a mystery approach, they tend to ask like, well, what is it? Is it network marketing? Is it MLM? Is it one of those pyramid things? Is it Amway? And then all of a sudden, the distributor has a tendency to start backpedaling. Well, no, it's different and we're like them, and it comes off as sounding like an excuse. So my approach is to say, hey, I'm building a network marketing business around a wellness product. I like to say, you know, I can't make you any promises. I'm not sure it's a fit for you, because what that conveys to the prospect is that I'm not desperate or needy or trying to sell them into the business, you see. So there's some powerful psychology there. I'm making it comfortable for them, and I'm asking them to look at some information or meet me for a cup of coffee. In this example with Aaron, he's long distance, so I would have to do it long distance and show him the plan when we're both online. So the direct invite, it's simple, it's honest, it's easy, and you don't really have to memorize anything. I mean, what are you saying? Hey, I'm in network marketing. I'm looking to mentor somebody to $2,000 to $5,000 a week. It's in the wellness industry. Ben's a wide open market, and I intend to build the fastest growing team in the Northwest. Hey, if you're not interested, that's cool, but you know, information's never a disadvantage. That's a powerful line. You want to write that one down for sure. The next invite is the simple invite. The simple invite is what you want to use on like your close friends and family. Your best friend or your mom, you can already see that this invite wouldn't really work. The simple invite would be something like this. I could call up my friend Jason and say, hey Jason, I've got an incredible opportunity. It's in the networking industry. I'm going to build the fastest growing team in the Northwest, and I'm looking for a couple people. Hey, this may not be a fit for you, but I at least want to show you what I'm doing. When can we get together for a cup of coffee? Okay, so it's simple. I'm still telling the truth, but he's my friend, he knows me, and we have a motto that, hey, friends do what friends do. Again, I'm just asking my friend to take a look. I'm not trying to sell them on it. Okay, and if anybody raises any objections or says something like, well, I'm not sure, hey, you know, we both know information is never a disadvantage. The other thing they want to do is if they try to pull more information out of you, I don't give presentations over the phone. If I meet somebody at the mall in a store and they want to know about my business, I'm not going to sit there in front of Macy's and give a presentation. I'm going to control the business. I don't like to tell them anything until I can tell them everything. So if a question comes up, well, can you tell me about it right now? Well, this is something that I really have to show you, and I know you'll have questions, but you know, I don't really like to sell. I'd rather let some of the information do the work, let you evaluate it on your own to see if it's a fit for you. Because remember, I'm not trying to sponsor everybody. In my mind, I'm looking for those 40 people, so out of those, I can determine which ones are going to be my 3 to 4. My mind, I don't have to beg anybody to take a look at my business or be in business with me. Now think about it. If I sponsor a brand new distributor, should I feel lucky? Well, I'm happy, but they're the ones in my mind that should feel lucky. You know what am I going to do? I'm going to give up 1 or 2 evenings a week. I'm going to spend an hour doing a get started session. I'm going to be meeting some of his prospects for coffee when he can't even be there because maybe he's at work. I'm going to be working down in depth in their organization. I might drive 4 hours to a meeting for him and maybe nobody shows up. So do I really have to talk somebody into that? I'm going to work for them for free. See, that's the posture and the psychology you have to have. You get to pick your own team. So the simple invite works. One other caveat, people are going to say no, and that's fine. I mean, if I have a friend who's a chiropractor and calls me up and he thinks it's the greatest profession in the world, and I like what chiropractors do, well, it may not be a fit for me. Okay, it doesn't mean that the chiropractic profession is bad. So if I tell him no, my friend who's a chiropractor is probably not going to hang his head low and pout and start questioning what he's doing, right? Because again, this is a sorting business, but we're not sorting for approval. We're not sorting to see if everybody loves what we do necessarily. We're sorting to see if it's a fit for them. So we want to respect people where they're at. If you get somebody that's rude, it seems like there's, only 10 rude people in the world, but they tend to circulate a lot and we keep running into the same ones. But, if you get somebody that's rude, I have a principle that says say no first. I mean, I can take it away. If I get into somebody says, yeah, it sounds like one of those pyramid things, those are a scam. Now, I could go into, well, Donald Trump endorses it and Robert Kiyosaki and Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in America, invests in network marketing. Even if I do battle with my friend, nobody's going to feel good at the end. And even if I do get him to take a look, there's a phrase, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So I may win the battle, but I'm probably not going to win the war. So if I get somebody that is kind of negative, I just don't prefer to be in that conversation. So I rather say no first. I will reject my prospect before he has a chance to tell me no. And I'll say something like, hey, you know what, Bill? This doesn't sound like it's really a fit for you. And honestly, I'm only looking for a couple of key people that I can work with. So, hey, I'll pass. If anything changes for you in the future, go ahead and give me a shout. I wish you well. Okay? That is the simple invite. The business partner invite. This is one of my favorites. Matter of fact, this is how I learned to invite in network marketing. I was brand new and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have a lot of influence and credibility in networking. So my mentor said, hey, he did a get started session with me. He says, why don't you line up some people? And he had me write down some names and we discussed them as I'm going to teach you to do it in the get started session. And he says, okay, well, I'm available on Tuesday and Thursday between these blocks of time. I want you to get people to come sit down with me so I can show them the plan. And this changed my life. He says, really, you'll do that for me? See, I wasn't used to this kind of working together, team effort in network marketing. I mean, most things, it's you against the rest of the world, right? If you're a real estate agent, there's nobody that's out closing your deals. If you're in insurance, there's nobody that's making your phone calls. It's you that's got to do the work. So most things in life, it's you against the rest of the world. Well, in this, you get to surround yourself with a lifeline called your upline. So my mentor, Bob, we picked a Starbucks, and he taught me the business partner invite, and he taught me the principle of what's called edification. A lot of times, some of your closest friends, they trust you because you have a relationship with them, but they don't necessarily respect your opinion in business, especially your very closest friends. I mean, some of my friends are like, well, you were a jazz musician in high school. Now you're this entrepreneur. What do you know about business? It's kind of like if I went to somebody and, I told them that I was going to get into the boat building business. And they're like, you've never even sailed a boat. What do you know? But if I said, hey, I've met this guy. I'm interested in this new market. And this guy is one of the top in the world at what he does. He's honed his craft and he's taken on some partners. He's going to teach me everything he knows. Now my friend says, yeah, I ain't going to listen to you, but I'll listen to this guy, right? Which is fine. So that's where you kind of have to set your own ego aside and learn to place the edification on a third party, which is your upline. Because until you have success in this industry, even though you want to carry yourself as if you're going to, based upon your blueprint and your foundation for diamond, it just hasn't been built yet, but you want to lean on the credibility of your upline and use their story, what this person's doing. So the business partner invite will go something like this. Hey, Sean, did I catch you at a good time? I say, yeah. I don't know if you've ever considered doing something entrepreneurial, but I met a friend of mine, his name is Bob, and he's one of the top guys in the whole industry of network marketing. I mean, this guy has made millions, and he's agreed to mentor me and teach me. And I was telling Bob a little bit about you, and he says, well, pick 3 to 4 of your sharpest people for us to get together for coffee on Tuesday, and let's meet them. And Sean, I told Bob that I don't know if this is a fit for you, but he is definitely the kind of person that you'd want to meet. And you know what? We both know information's never a disadvantage. Can we meet at Starbucks at 2? I'll buy the coffee. Okay? Simple. I'm using his credibility If they ask me questions, hey, what do you know? Listen, I couldn't do it justice. I mean, I'd rather have you hear this from the mouth of a millionaire, somebody that's done this, and I don't want to take any of Bob's thunder. I mean, the guy is incredible. Will 2 o'clock work? So that's the business partner invite. You use this on some of your people that you may think are on your chicken list that you don't feel that you have the credibility or necessary influence to get. And you want to know something, your upline wants you to call them. The people that we ignore are the ones that we don't hear from. The people that we pay attention to are the ones that are calling us for appointments. Okay? And I want my new distributors in the beginning to be masterful at setting appointments for me, because as I'm doing this third-party approach for my downline, you know what's happening? They're watching me show the plan. If I'm doing a meeting for you and you've seen me do this 5 times and I've done the plan 5 times, you're learning how to do the plan. Okay? So that's the business partner invite. All this talking makes me thirsty. Next up, this is a third-party invite. A lot of people have a bit of fear when it comes to approaching people. Major fear is fear of rejection. Well, I like to say it's not really fear of rejection, it's a desperate need for approval. And that comes back to, what are we sorting for? Are we sorting for somebody who's a right fit for this business? Or are we sorting for, am I going to hurt their feelings? Are they going to think I'm doing something weird? Are they going to think I'm crazy? You know, are they going to, talk bad about me behind my back? And most of it is all this fear that manifests in your head. Well, first of all, you don't really need to be afraid. You don't need to put other heads higher than your own. You can carry yourself with the same level of respect and not have to put yourself down. This is getting off on a little tangent, but I think that, if fear was no obstacle, would you have any doubt in your mind that you could go to the top of the pay plan? If fear just wasn't an issue at all, and you could talk to anybody and not worry about it. And that's a point where, through personal growth, we'll hope that you get to. But an easy way to practice talking to people and practice an invite is a third-party invite. And the reason why this works is because you're not directly asking the person to take a look or to be interested or be involved. You're doing it in a third-party way with the hopes that they will say, that kind of sounds like a fit for me. So let's say that I meet somebody from my church and I know he owns a landscaping business. And I say, Fred, I know you're a very talented, successful businessman, and I know you're great at sizing people up. I'm starting a networking business, and I'm looking for 1 or 2 key people that want to earn $2,000 to $3,000 a week working part-time with me. Do you know anybody like that might be a fit? Now, 3 things are going to happen. Number 1, he may say, no, I'll think about it and get back to you. Number 2, he may say, yeah, you know what? My neighbor next door, she was very successful in Mary Kay, and she loves doing that kind of stuff. I can pass her along or open up the door for you. But what I'm hoping my friend will say is, $2,000 to $3,000 a week? Hey, we're coming in the winter, landscaping slows down. That sounds like me. So then you say, well, I don't have time to get into it right now, but it may not be a fit. Information's never disadvantaged. Hey, why don't we grab a cup of coffee? It'll take about 20 minutes. Okay, so that's the third-party invite. This allows you, because if they say no, they're not rejecting you personally. Last but not least, this is the question invite. The question invite is very powerful. Anthony Robbins has a great phrase. He says, let the prospect design the presentation. What does that mean? Well, let them tell you what their interest is. Let's say that I meet somebody who's a school teacher, and we get in a conversation. So what I want to do is find out a little about them. And I do this with most prospects. I don't really do form. I don't really need an acronym to learn how to meet somebody, but you can do that: family, occupation, recreation, money, or motivation. But I just kind of keep it simple. The question invite, I like to get to know them. I say, hey, Steve, how long have you been teaching? 20 years. What do you love most about it? Well, I love the kids. I love having my summers off, but I don't like the pay and all the headaches and some of the bureaucracy that goes with it and some of the crud that I got to deal with. And, you know, I could always use some extra money. You know, being a teacher is rewarding, but it doesn't always pay the best. So I might frame a question like this. You know, Steve, if you could be in a business where you could generate $5,000 a week working part-time, not interfere with your work, and it's a business where you're still teaching, helping, and educating people, but it pays very well, would that have some appeal to you? By the way, it's family-oriented and it's fun. Would that have some appeal to you? Who's going to say no to that? If I can help you, if you could generate an extra $5,000 a week working part-time in a family-oriented business, it won't interfere with your current work, and it provide the extra money that you and your wife say you need, would that have some appeal to you? Would you at least want to take a look at something like that? Who's going to say no? I mean, the reason why people get no's is they ask the wrong questions to the wrong people in the wrong ways at the wrong time. So if you're intelligent about how you ask people, you can let them frame the question. You can tell them what their needs are. What you're looking for is their hot buttons. You're looking for their hot buttons. And you're showing them how our vehicle of network marketing, when they see the plan, fulfills those needs. The best way to master contact invite is just do it. Are you going to screw up? Are you going to mumble? Are you going to get nervous? Yes. But is it worth it? Is it worth it to have $100,000, $200,000 a year residual income where you own your life on your own terms? I think so. When you make your list, sit down with your upline, determine the best invite to approach, and you know, make it your own. You don't have to memorize my words, but understand the content and the appropriate context to use these invites with various prospects. Let's move on to, once we get them to take a look, let's talk about what do we do with them next, and that's show the plan.